San Diego and across the country. That's according to Jewish organizations and hundreds of speakers at Tuesday's San Diego City Council meeting. Liat Cohen-Reese directs a local anti-Semitism task force. She says defining it is the city's first step to better fight it.
Well, we need language. In order to understand what something is, we need a definition, we need the language.
Nearly everyone who spoke agreed anti-Semitism needs to be combated. They disagreed on how to define it. The city adopted the definition of the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, or IRA. It's been adopted by dozens of countries and cities across the U.S., including Los Angeles, Chula Vista, and El Cajon. It says anti-Semitism is, quote, a certain perception of Jews, which may be expressed as hatred. It includes 11 examples. 7 of them involve the state of Israel. Critics say the language has been used to silence criticism of Israel and support for Palestinians. One of those critics is Jewish council member Sean Elo Rivera. He says people must be allowed to both love Jewish people and speak freely against actions by the Israeli government.
A definition that cannot hold both of these things at once is not a tool for fighting anti-Semitism. It is a tool for silencing people who care about everyone.
He urged the council to consider other definitions, but he was outvoted 8-1. For more on this debate and to read the full definition, visit kpbs.org.
Shalom, all praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, double honor to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, whom rule and teach well. I came across this video, man, and these devils are being exposed. The entire world is operating on a vibration that has not been felt in hundreds of years. Why do I say hundreds of years? Because there was a time where everybody understood who the bases of men were. All right, and because these Israelis knew that they themselves were the bases of men, and because the fruits that these trees, these men, these group of people, because the scripture says, "You shall know a tree by its fruits," and because the fruits that these trees produce, man, what did they try to do? They try to hide themselves, man. This is how they have been operating since they showed back up on the scene. Isaiah 29:15. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who sees us? And who knows us? This is how these Israelis have been operating ever since they got let loose. Matter of fact, because I keep saying they got let loose. What do I mean by that? Revelation chapter 20, verse 3, straight to the point, talking about the devil. All right, well, let's get verse 2 says, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil, and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. All right, this is that same group of people that deceived Adam and Eve in the garden. Yes, it wasn't an actual snake, okay? Because when you go into that root word of snake in the blue letter, I believe the root word is nachash, and all that word means is a diviner, you know. So it wasn't an actual snake that was in the garden, but it was a, tricksters, It was a diviner, okay? It was a group of people, and that's how they've been operating since then. These are the same people that put the divination of female rights. These are the group of people that put the divination of, LGBT rights. And that's why the scriptures say, stand now with thine enchantment in Isaiah the 47th chapter. Because now those enchantments aren't working. These people are being discovered for who they are. But that's, going back onto the point, that's how this is prophecy. It's verse 3, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that he must be loosed, a little season. And we know that those 1,000 years is talking about the so-called Dark Ages, when the Southern Kingdom ruled during the Byzantine Empire from the year around 350 to 1350, when the Byzantine Empire, which was the Western Roman Empire, or the Holy Roman Empire, was in control. But the point is that during that time, these people, everybody knew who they were, man. You know, Job 30 goes into it. It talks about how they were nasty people, people that we wouldn't even want our dogs to be around. Why? Because these are the wicked people that do things with animals. All right, and you know the Epstein list is perfect example of it, man. But the point is that he was loosed again to deceive all of the nations, and that's their MO, man. You do a Google search here. It says, why do so many Jewish actors change their names? Jewish actors historically change their names primarily to avoid anti-Sem and assimilate. Hold on a minute. Somebody calling me. And to assimilate into American culture. All right, and escape ethnic stereotyping in the entertainment industry. That's a lie. Basically, what they're saying is they're changing their names because they don't want people in the entertainment industry to know who they are. Well, wait a minute. Who owns the entertainment industry? They're all owned by Philstein, Goldbergs, and Dinkelberg. All right, they're all Israelis. So no, they're not trying to hide themselves from each other. They're trying to hide themselves from you. You know, anybody that lies to you about their name, I mean, don't they have a term for that? It's called a con man. These people are the biggest cons that has ever existed. That's why the scriptures talk about a controversy in Zion. And when you go into that, matter of fact, let's get that controversy. Controversy etymology. Let's get that. It's a dispute. All right, a disputation, a debate. Okay, and what is that controversy? The same way that these people change their names, they've changed themselves as a race of people, man. But now it's coming out, and this is prophecy that it would come out. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. Let no man deceive you by any means. For that day, what day? The day that Yahushua returns. For that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. And what was that falling away? That falling away was the so-called blacks, natives, and Hispanics discontinuing from their heritage, forgetting who we were. All right, but there's hope. Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, talked about the valley of dry bones coming back to life. We are those dry bones. And why is it a valley of dry bones? Because when you go into the scriptures, when people talk about bone, thou art my bone, it talks about a relationship. Matter of fact, let's get that. Laban says, thou art my bone of my bone. Let's get, just to get an example. Genesis 29 and 14. And Laban said to him, surely thou art bone and Genesis 29 and 14. And by the way, the context here is, this is Jacob going to find his wife. Genesis 29 and 14. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh. And he abode with him the space of a month. Is that not what Adam told Eve too? Thou art bone of my bone. Why? The point that I'm trying to say is that the reason that in Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, talks about dry bones, because the Spirit was breathed back onto those bones, and those bones are relational. This is a family matter. Like Mary J. Blige said, this is a family affair. For that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. So, we fell away from who we were. The Spirit got breathed back onto us. The water Yahweh Shema Shai. It got breathed back onto the Israelites, because the scriptures talk about The testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. Only the Israelites gave you the name, starting with the elders and the apostles. The Israelites told you about the Iran war decades ago. The Israelites told you about the mark of the beast decades ago. But here's the point, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Who is that man of sin? Well, wait, matter of fact, let's get that. What is a man of sin? Let's see what Google said. What is a man? Y'all saw that search right there? What's Jonah Hill's real name? This is the guy from Superbad. Jonah Hill Fieldstein. And I mean, there's so many videos. But anyways, I forgot where I was going. What is a man of sin? There you go. The man of sin, context, it says he opposes the Most High. He opposes the Most High. Now, I was hoping that it would give me something like there was a saying, but even this is good. He total opposition of the Most High's law, performing lying wonders. Okay, but the point is that man of sin is being revealed. That's why they have to pass these laws. Show me in the scriptures where the Israelites were passing laws saying, hey, you can't talk about us. No, to the contrary. Our glory, the real Israelites, their glory was going throughout the entire regions. This is where you get men of renown, men of a great name. Okay, this is why the Queen of Sheba came to talk with Solomon, because she heard about his wisdom. We weren't passing laws, talking about don't talk about us, but that's why these people. As a matter of fact, there's a quote saying, if you want to know who controls the world, find out who you can talk bad about. And these people are passing laws saying that you can't talk about them. And that's why the scripture says, woe unto them whose works are in the dark. All right? People, if you can't trust somebody who doesn't give you their real name, why would you trust them at all? And, if by chance any female come across this video, when y'all meet a man and that man tells you, when that man gives you a fake name, y'all don't want to hear it once you find out he gave you a fake name. So why do you consistently follow people who they themselves have been giving you a fake name this entire time, man? Oh, well, we're the Most High's people, but, I got to change my name. Like, what? Ezekiel 2 verse 4. Matter of fact, let's start at verse 3. Because ultimately what this is going into, it's going into the famine of the word, which we're going to get that scripture. But right now, what we're doing is we're just bringing this proof out. Prophecy's coming to pass. We're just bringing the proof out. But our people are stiff-necked. Ezekiel 2 and 3. And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel. Okay? So we're only supposed to go out and tell this truth to our people. All right? Because telling an Edomite that he's an Edomite, it's not going to do nothing. I mean, how's that furthering the work? He still can't get saved. So we're here to tell our people, Israel, so-called blacks, natives, and Hispanics, which they are what? A rebellious nation that has rebelled against me. And they're rebelling against the Most High to this day. How? Because when the prophets go out and tell our people these things, they don't want to listen, and the Spirit lives within us. All right, it says, they and their fathers have transgressed me even unto this very day. Verse 4, for they are impudent children and stiff-hearted. I do send thee unto them, and thou shalt say unto them, thus saith Yahweh Shemel Shai, and they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, so rebellious that the scriptures had to mention it twice. Hey, don't forget, they're a rebellious people. Yet shall know that there has been a prophet among them, because that time is coming. The time when these videos are going out, that time is going to stop, man. And that's going into the famine of the word. Amos 8 and 11. Behold, the day comes, saith the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that I will send a famine in the land. Not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Let's get the word famine definition. What's a famine? An an extreme shortage. All right. So, I mean, this is talking about food, but an extreme shortage of the word. The word is going out right now, man. And the scripture says that there's going to be a famine of the word, meaning that people are going to be wanting to know what the truth is, man. You know, when you think about famine of food, you think about people, you know, getting skinny. Man, think about how nuts people are going to be going when they finally remember, like, oh man, I heard this before, and then they can't find the videos because YouTube's taken down. They can't find the prophets because they're not going out to the highways or the byways. That's why, you know, our people, if they can get it, man, they got to get it now. And we as servants of Yahweh Shem Shai, we have to do the work. And I'm going to close off with that. I must do the work still day. John 9:4. This is for the servants. John 9:4. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. We got to get these videos out. Even though our, you know, days get busy, though we may be tired and, you know, we want to go and just, you know, zone out, get on social media. There ain't nothing wrong with that, but we have to also work the work, man. This is our spiritual paycheck. In the same way that we can't take days off of work because, you know, we go broke, man, we can go spiritually broke. Yeah, how about Shem Shai can take the spirit from us, man? This is an act of love. And doesn't the scripture say charity covers a multitude of sins? This is an act of charity, man. So hopefully this has been edifying. That, you know, Esau Edom, the man, the self-proclaimed white man, the man of perdition is being revealed. And this is prophecy. For the next one, Shalom.